Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Oh, happy Monday afternoon, and I ask that you please continue to pray for my continued recovering from my recent binge eating relapse by liking this video. So I'm off to a good start this week. Last week was just a shit show. The ups and downs of trying to network with new people really took its beating on my eating habits. And eating is such a weird thing to me. If I think back at what did I eat yesterday, and I think about how much it was and my relationship with my food, I will be grossed out. But in the midst of eating it, I never really stop and think about it. I don't know why it's so easy to disassociate what you're eating. At least for me, I need to get better at that. When I think about what I did last week, I am so grossed out I could vomit. I wish I could feel that way as I'm eating it, though. It kind of reminds me of other habits that I've had, right? So, you guys know I sometimes get addicted to my art projects, and in the midst of doing it, I never really stop and think about what I'm doing to myself. Or actually I do. What ends up happening is that it's 3 a.m., right? Actually, strike that. It's 3 a.m. on the second all-nighter that I'm pulling, and I'll be like, Peter, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And yet I won't put my art down. I could do stuff and be upset at myself for doing it, or confused by myself for doing it. Now, last year, I had a huge problem with masturbating. I was addicted. And I could be in the middle of masturbating and go, Peter, what the fuck are you doing? Actually, when I was a kid, I used to do that a lot. When I was 10 years old when I first started masturbating, if I remember correctly. I remember because one of the first people I ever fantasized about was Princess Diana. We had just lost her. And I would be in the midst of fantasizing about her in my room and going, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? I thought it was weird. I didn't realize people actually masturbate. I thought I was weird fantasizing about her in that regard. And then, before I ended up studying math and computer science, I used to want to study chemistry. My dad wouldn't allow me because I was too error prone. He thought I would burn myself, kill myself, and so I had a huge fantasy of you guys know the greatest female chemist ever, Mary Curie, and I would be fantasizing about her, and I would be like, what the fuck are you doing? I really liked her, but I thought it was very disrespectful what I was doing. And I would be in the midst of doing it. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? It wasn't until in 2000 I was watching the first season of Survivor 1, and I had a huge crush on Colleen Haskell. She ended up starring in the movie, and obviously I fantasized about her too. It was only then did I open up to one of my friends to discuss it, did I realize that I wasn't being abnormal about it. But for 3 years, I literally just went, what the fuck are you doing? And I had no idea what I was doing was normal. And unfortunately, my eating habits have become like that as well. Like, in the midst of, it's so weird. Why am I so repulsed by what I ate yesterday? But I can never get repulsed by what I'm currently eating, right? I had a friend who quit smoking at one point. I think he relapsed, but he quit smoking at one point. And I asked him if that's how he felt when he smokes, and he confirmed it was a very similar feeling. In the midst of smoking a cigarette, he would ask himself what the fuck he was doing. What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? And so, but you're still doing it, right? Leave a comment. Have you ever done anything that makes you shaking your head? What the fuck am I doing? But yet you still feel compelled to do it anyway, right? Masturbating, eating, all-nighters tend to do that to me. I've never smoked or drank, but let's see what else will make me. Sometimes when I know I shouldn't be procrastinating on something and I procrastinate anyway, sometimes I'll get that feeling. But those are the big ones usually. I don't masturbate nearly as much as I did a few years ago, obviously. So I haven't experienced that. And lately, when I do masturbate, it tends to be a healthier relationship, right? All right. So to give you an idea of how badly addicted I was to masturbating, I was living in Ellensburg, Washington. This was in the summer of 2020. I was just about to go out to my favorite stargazing vantage point. And on the way out, there was a grocery store that I knew I could get some of my favorite snacks. I was planning on going to the grocery store, getting my snacks, and in the parking lot, putting on some covers and doing my business. And I was so excited about doing that. I'm trying to remember who I was fantasizing about at the time. I think it might have been, at the time, it might have been Evelina Falenta, actually. I tend not to fantasize about her anymore. But I had gotten onto the highway, and as I exited, there was construction. You got to remember, construction was suspended for a few months because of COVID. Now they were kind of making up for lost time, and I got confused by the signs, and I ended up driving down the wrong direction, and I was in such a panic to get to where I needed to go in order to masturbate. And when I got there, I did my business, and I felt sick to my stomach. And I remember explaining it as I kind of felt like I got date raped by myself. That's probably the best analogy I could give. And unfortunately, my latest experiences have not been anything like that. So I feel like it's still a success, even though I still masturbate these days. But now it's the eating problems, right? I kind of feel like I'm being like tortured by myself, like force fed to death by myself, right? This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.